Good morning, everyone. This is Justin White, I'm the head coach from Tabula Rasa Racing, and it is August 6th of 2019, and just throwing out another update on Ali and my training for the Tour de Pink charity ride that is in October. It's October 4th through the 6th. This weekend we had a pretty good weekend. I'm still about a week out from Ironman Ohio 70.3, so I'm still recovering a little bit. So I don't have a whole lot of legs for any high endurance kind of stuff. So my goal this past weekend was to kind of go out and support her on her long ride and her moderate ride on Sunday. So Saturday we got in 3.5 hours, which was pretty close to just a little over 53 miles out on the Capitol Trail. And I talked a little bit about that in the previous video that I posted to the site. For me, it was a low zone 2, high zone 1 ride. And I just wanted to manage and test out my legs and just let my legs just flow with it. I really just kind of wanted her to spend some time practicing nutrition and hydration while on a long ride. She just received her bike since she is a cancer survivor. Bianchi was giving away bikes to cancer survivors that had opted to do the ride. So there was a big lottery and she applied and received one of the free bikes, which is a complete blessing for her. So a lot of her training up to date has been on spin bikes in the gym, where I've given her, a periodized plan, and she's gone in and done long rides on the weekend on a spin bike, which is very different than riding outside on a real bike. So this was her first opportunity to get outside and ride on a real road bike, and so the goal was to kind of keep the intensity low and just let her get used to riding, handling water bottles. We still need to set up a hydration system on her bike since it was so new. I mean, we essentially got it on Friday and went for a 3.5 hour ride on Saturday. So her bike hasn't really been set up. She hasn't had a bike fit yet, which is the next thing that we're going to do for her. Because when you're spending 200 miles and all the training, you need to make sure that you have a properly fit bike. So go to your local bike shop, spend the money to get a proper fit. Millimeters here and there make a huge difference in whether you start to experience knee pain with your bike seat being too forward or too far back. Loss of power by it being too high or too low. If your bike seat is too high, you tend to rock your hips back and forth in order to reach the down portion of the stroke, which can lead to overuse injuries in the hip and the knee. So make sure that you spend the money, get a good bike fit. I have a local bike shop where this guy is the only person that touches my bike. I take it to Clint Cronenberger over at Coke Recyclery, and he is the best in the business in my opinion. He's the one that I get to do all of my bike maintenance, fits, everything. So that's our next stop for her, is to get her a good bike fit to make sure that she can be comfortable on a long ride. We still manage the nutrition and hydration pretty well. It's still going to take some practice, and reaching down and handling bottles and putting bottles back and still getting used to the bike handling skills for her. So Saturday was a big success for us. We still rode the 3.5 hours, had the legs for it. I felt pretty good. This past weekend, we actually celebrated our 1-year anniversary. So that night I made steak, potatoes, and some roasted broccoli for her, and we just had a nice evening. Our date night was spent inside, and just enjoyed the extra protein from a long ride, and we just had some nice time together. Sunday on my plan was a 3-mile easy run. This was going to be my first run post Ohio, and I just want to kind of stay relaxed. The run just did not go like I had hoped in Ohio. And I have another YouTube channel that's out there, and you can see my race report from Ironman Ohio 70.3. And the run just was rough. It was a hot day, so this was going to be my first time up on my feet, just trying to stay relaxed. I did not go out with nutrition per se. I went out with hydration, so I just went out with just a single water bottle in my run vest and just tried to stay relaxed. The run went well. So the decision that I had to make was when to do the run. Because on Allie's training plan, she had an hour and 15-minute bike workout to do, which is kind of just a shakeout ride after a long ride like that. So, but I didn't want her to go out and do it alone, as she's still getting used to a bike. And I just like riding with her. It's just so much more fun. So I wanted to figure out how to structure my training for the day, because my main goal was my run, as I am still training for another triathlon this year, and I did not want to sacrifice the quality of my run for the ride. So what I did was I ended up getting up a little bit extra early to go out and do the run first, because typically you can structure it to where you do a brick session, which we would ride the bike first and then just transition quickly and then go out for a run. But then in my thoughts and feelings, based still the fact that I'm still recovering from Ohio, I did not want to run under fatigued legs after just simply riding, because the run was my primary workout. So I switched things around. I did the run first, and then went back to the house, loaded up the bikes, and then we drove out to the Capitol Trail and did the hour and 15 minutes. We ended up getting close to 20 miles, so it was about 19 and a half miles. This was, for me, my goal was simply like a zone 1 to low zone 2 spin. I was not looking for speed. I was not looking for power. I was not looking for miles. I was just looking for seat time for her, and just kind of, I wanted to spin my legs, which is what I really that was my goal. And I think we accomplished it pretty well. Felt pretty good. I did not get a chance for a recovery on Saturday night to get in the recovery boots from Normatec and just trying to prepare myself for Sunday's workouts. So I was feeling a little stressed and a little fatigued in the legs, but managed it. Ended up getting in some good training for the day, and just kind of rested the rest of the day. Had some food and just kind of laid around. Did training plans for my athletes, so I spent some time on the computer. Still, for some reason, did not get into the boots. I have a hard time when it comes to like doing training plans and getting in the boots. You know, you have the boots and the hose and everything else, and you're trying to put the laptop on top. It just, I don't know. I figure out how to make it work. So Sunday was a success. I did not get enough sleep Sunday night. Ended up going to bed like super late. It was close to midnight by the time I actually my head hit the pillow. And I teach cycle classes at a local gym on Mondays and Thursday mornings, classes at 5:30. So I was really starting to wonder on like what kind of legs I was going to have for the cycle class, because it's the first opportunity that I've had to do some kind of intensity in the workout. My coach had already posted my plan for this week that we're in now, and it was my only workout scheduled for the day, and I was really kind of anxious to see how I was going to perform in this class, even though it was my own workout for the spin class. That was what he had on my training plan. So went in, ended up oversleeping and got to the gym like right at the last minute. to try and set my bike up for class. I had already had the workout programmed into my watch, so I knew exactly what we were going to do, and so I set the music on and we just rolled. So we had some high intensity speed work with some big gear work in between to kind of break it up. So the cycle classes on Monday is what I call an S&P class. So we do drills to increase speed and power. So, 1 month we'll focus on speed. So we'll do various speed intervals. And then the following month we focus on big gear work to build muscular endurance. And so this class, I ended up kind of mushing them together because I know I wasn't going to have the legs for pure speed, and I did not have the legs for pure big gear work. So I wanted to interlace them together. So we did some various speed intervals along with some big gear work. I struggled, even as the cycle instructor. I will gladly admit I struggled on that workout, just to try and find that intensity and be able to maintain it. But got it done and came home, got ready and went about my day. Came home in the evening, made a nice dinner. Just had some nice protein with some chicken and some roasted broccoli and baked potato that was left over from date night on Saturday, and actually got into the boots. So I did a 45 minute session in the Normatec boots, and then turned into bed early and got some good rest last night. So here I am this morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and actually had the energy to clean my house this morning as the kids still slept. Let's see. There is something that I'm kind of switching up in my training. So with my injury over the winter time, I lost a lot of run time, which tends to be the calorie burner, and so it will help me offset the extra calories that you do take in during the holidays, with parties and just all the food that's around. And when you're coming off of, an Ironman, it was in October, and then, some late season races, you just enjoy the food and the downtime. So I've been carrying some extra weight, and I've had a hard time dropping it. And it's been really, really frustrating. My training has been fairly high, even though I switched from Ironman distance training down to half Ironman. Last year I did Ironman Louisville, which is in October, so it's a late season race. And those longer sessions, it's just a very, very different structure when you're training for full distance Ironman versus the half Ironman distance 70.3. So the intensity is a little bit higher, but the duration is shorter. So I no longer have, the 4, 5, 6 hour bike rides in, super long runs. My bike rides have been about, 3.5, I think has been the most. So training for the Tour de Pink is actually going to give me full length distance Ironman bike training as the ride duration starts to increase past 3.5 hours, which is what I've been doing thus far in my program. So I decided to, at the suggestion of Allie, who's a registered dietitian, to try intermittent fasting. She's had some success with this method, and I did not want to implement it before Ohio because I didn't want to shake up my body right before one of my A races. And so now, as I'm on the other side of that race and prepping for the next one, I thought I would give it a shot and see how it works out for me. So I've opted to do a 12 to 12, which is 12 hours fast, 12-hour feed. And I'm getting close now at the recording of this video to eat my breakfast, which is a good thing because I'm getting a little bit hungry. So one of my downfalls is my late night eating. It was nothing for me to just go ahead and grab something to eat as I was actually walking to the bedroom to go to bed. So, which is not a very good methodology to use when it comes to weight maintenance and training for endurance. So I'm going to give this a shot, throwing it out here in public now that I'm going to try this intermittent fasting and see how it works. Give it a few months and see if it will jumpstart anything to help me manage the calories a little bit better. One of the things that I've been kind of suspect about is doing some kind of calorie restriction while I'm in my season of endurance racing. And so I'm a little bit anxious on actually restricting the calories as a result of my caloric needs for racing. So I really have to make a conscious effort to switch out some of those empty calories, just grabbing like a handful of pretzels or whatever, and really kind of substitute in some dense calories so that I have what I need in order to train. And regardless of whatever kind of race that you're prepping for, if you're just training for exercise and weight loss, the quality of the calories that you take in matters. So we'll see how this goes, and I'll keep you updated. So far, this is, I've got my training plan for the week. Today I have a swim that I'm going to do, and my oldest son is a senior in high school and he's on the cross country team, so he had practice this morning, so I gave him my car to go to practice, and so there was no early morning swim for me, so I got a little bit of extra rest this morning, and so I will go at lunchtime and knock out my interval swim to get back in the pool with a little bit more structure. I had one swim workout last week, but it was more of a recovery swim, just really nice, easy kind of intervals just to kind of get the body moving. This one's going to have a little bit more intensity, a little bit more focus, a little more structure, and get back into the pool in preparation for the next race. So I posted the link for our fundraising efforts for the Tour de Pink. You can find it on the Tabula Rasa Racing Facebook page. It's all the way up at the top. I've pinned it to the top, so it's always there for you guys to look. Subscribe to this channel so that you can see any and all of the updates that I will post throughout our training for this and post. This isn't going to be the last thing that we decide to do. We are very, very active. I love this kind of stuff, and Allie is starting to get the bug, and I'm trying to plant it in her mind too, that she can do the triathlons, and hopefully at some point in time she'll opt for that sprint, because I know that once she does it, which is the way it was with me, once you get a taste of it, you're hooked. And so I know that she has it in her. I believe it, and it's something that we could just share together. But this isn't going to be our last adventure together by far. We've got many, many more years where we're going to have some fun. So subscribe to this channel and you'll see all of our updates, and I will talk to you guys later. Enjoy the ride.